So this is chapter 5. It's a human anatomy and physiology review. In this chapter in particular, you will want to employ the pause function. A lot of this is going to be on you stopping and making sure you're familiar with the anatomy and physiology of these slides. I could read it all to you, but that would be really hard for anyone to maintain their focus. So I will mention some high points, but a lot of times you're going to need to pause, make sure you're familiar with the terms on these slides. So these are the objectives. Go ahead and review those. This slide is talking about some interesting facts of the human body and its composition. Not anything necessarily that you need to know, just some interesting things about it. It does define anatomy and physiology, anatomy being the structural composition of the body, and the physiology being the function of the various anatomical parts. It is important to make sure you are familiar with what the anatomic position is, being standing erect, arms at your sides, eyes and palms facing forward. These are the body planes. The directional terms, superior, anterior, posterior, inferior, medial, lateral. Body cavities. Again, remember, you can pause at any point if you need to. Alright, so body functions. Homeostasis is defined as the purpose of every system in your body, a state of equilibrium or balance in the body's internal environment. Metabolism, the sum of all physical and chemical reactions needed to sustain your life. Catabolism is the breaking down, and anabolism is the conversion to more complex. Body organization, the cell, the basic structural unit of all life. And then there are some various other terms to be familiar with about cells. Here's a nice little photograph or diagram for you. Again, remember, you can pause if you need to review. Alright, so this is talking about the kinds of tissue in the body. Make sure you review and can differentiate between these types of tissues: connective, epithelial, muscle, nerve. Alright, so the next few slides are going to review the functions and structures of the skeletal system. Talks about the 4 shapes of bones. Again, this chapter is pretty much a review, so if you need to pause, make sure you do. Here's a nice picture of a human skeleton. This slide is talking about joints and connective tissues. Alright, so the next few slides are going to talk about the functions and structures of the muscular system. Again, make sure you review these. Know the kinds of muscles: cardiac, skeletal, and smooth. Guy's getting a little thicker now. These are slides of the different kinds of tissue. Okay, these next slides are going to review the functions and structures of the integumentary system, or your skin. This is a cross-section of the skin and all of the various structures within it. Okay, the next two slides are going to discuss more in depth the layers of the skin. Be sure you can differentiate between them, including the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous. Alright, review the nervous system, paying special attention to the differences between the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Here it is talking about the structures of the central nervous system and the peripheral nerve system. Okay. Review the endocrine system and the many organs within that produce, regulate, and are regulated by various hormones. A nice diagram of the organs of the endocrine system. Okay, these slides I need you to are going to review the digestive system, its functions, the structure, including the difference between the gastrointestinal or GI tract and the accessory organs. And of course there's a nice diagram for you. Okay, these slides talk about the reproductive system, the functions and the structures that differ between females and males. And guess what? There's a diagram. Okay, again, remember, you guys can pause at any time you need. These slides talk about the function and structures of the urinary system. And a nice little diagram for you. And the final slides review the functions and structures of the respiratory system. And our final diagram and the process of gas exchange. So if you've gone through this chapter, it's important that you know the structures, but I would be more pressed to make sure you're familiar with the functions of each system.